be trying to follow the sun, and right now the sun is taking me away from the shade of the tree. It's a little so nippy out here for me today. For the last couple days, it's been a little cooler than what I would, prefer for myself. And it is what it is. Hi, hey everybody, how y'all doing? I hope everyone is well. Yay, yay, yay. So I really was thinking about. I'm just gonna jump right in, right? Some of the, I guess, downloads and like teachings that I've been receiving from um, my spiritual team and whatever method it is, right? Because some of the messages are just there in my mind and I don't, whatever. So, spiritually speaking, however, I embody the messages because I am still processing a lot. And essentially, my learning is coming from multiple tools, multiple ways. Um, and it's just me in my head almost pretty much all the time, right? Whether the teaching tools are coming from social media or like tarot or my clear audience, however I'm getting these messages, I'm getting them, and my visions and everything. So I just wanted to share something that I kind of, so I received a message. Ooh, I want to say, come on, let's not do that, okay? Like, I'm sitting out here chilling. Why we gotta, don't do that. Don't come all over here by me now, please and thank you. You wasn't over here before I started talking. Don't come over here now. Saw this space outside. Um, okay, my bad. um, so probably like, and I don't be meaning to be mean to y'all. Let me just say that. Like, I know I smell good. Like, I know you want to come. I get it. I'm everything. I'm beautiful. I probably smell great and delicious, and it's probably attracting. I get it, but like, let's not. Okay, let's just be respectful, right? Reciprocal respect. Uh, and it kind of like, I don't know, cause like essentially I'm out in nature. Like, this is your space, but and also like it's my space too. I don't be coming over there trying to. I do sometimes. I do. But y'all be flying away when y'all don't want me by y'all. So I'm just gonna tell y'all. I be trying to catch the lightning bugs. I just put my hand out. So I ain't put my hand out for nobody. So just go. Some of y'all play too much. Okay. Um. So like in 2023, I received. Oh, I feel really bad because like some of them just be like, I want some of your essence too, and I'm just like, nah, not you. So I be rejecting some of nature's gifts too, and I feel bad a little bit, but and also like, no, they my boundaries. No, I don't feel the same way about you that you feel about me, and it's okay for me not to, even if your feelings hurt. So I guess we might have to figure out a way to make it work. So I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. I mean it though. Like, I don't want you touching me, and you sting. You sting, so it's protection for me and you. Cause I think after you sting, you're gonna die. So, yeah, don't get too close. You just over here sniffing, but that was too close for my comfort. So, just I don't know how how to do that. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I'm the butterfly, you the bee. I get it. Muhammad Ali. I was just talking about you yesterday. You came up. I should have been knowing you was gonna pop back up somehow or some way. I don't know. I don't be knowing. It don't always come to me. It's like some stuff just be like, oh, that's a puzzle piece. That's like it just be random stuff until it sometimes become a whole picture of what it could be. Messages and hellos and greetings and stuff can come in any kind of ways. It don't sting. It shouldn't sting nobody. I wasn't about to be trying to sting nobody. I'm just about to put out some information. I don't be knowing how to translate all this all the time. And sometimes it could just be no, but it wasn't feeling like that at first. It was, and then it just kind of kept going. But anywho, see, now you go away. You go away. I really don't want you on me, however that may look. If I didn't want the bee landing on me, I don't want the fly. I don't want anything touching me. Like, I don't want you touching me. I get to choose what I want touching me, and it's not you. So stop. That's enough. I said no. Okay. Um. So I was talking about the spiritual realm. So like last year, sometime in like 2023, I was listening to a tarot video. I was listening to a tarot video, right? And I had got a message, dude, like a message came across, and it was like, okay. And then, like, what I was receiving through the message was like magnified and expounded upon for real. Like, I was hearing the message, and also I was receiving like like a magnification of that message. I guess I would say like it was like more information and more detail being added. I don't always know how to articulate or explain, and I just feel like I'm supposed to, but I don't know because I'm just assuming that like I'm just now like realizing that I have gifts and maybe coming into some of my newer gifts, and like this is a whole different like transformation and acknowledgement and like process for me, right? And I'm also being told through various avenues, I guess I should say. And mind you, I'm like physically alone, probably about, I keep saying like 99% of the time, but that 1% is like when I go to the store or something, I guess, or I have errands to run or something. But um, so that means like essentially it's me in my head, essentially, however I look at it, like whether it's through the messages on, like if I'm browsing social media, like essentially those are messages that's coming across from the spiritual on one aspect, like the unseen realm, right? But it's a screen, and there's activity happening, and however it funnels through on my end, however it's perceived and translated, and hi, how you doing? However it's perceived and translated, received, and all of that other stuff, right? That's like a whole, it's different for everybody. Like we all have different eyes depending on culture, where we are, like our individual experiences, like the way that we all see the world is totally different. So even when you standing next to each other, like when me and my niece was traveling, I would be like, even though we standing next to each other and having the same experience, like essentially we are having two total different experiences, right? And even if we're looking at the same thing, like we're seeing it totally different. And that is so impactful and powerful on so many levels. Like, because I understand that philosophy, I guess, in like many different ways, even if don't, I want to say if I don't understand it. Is that like I understand it even if I don't understand it? I don't know. But anywho, like um so like even on social media or like when I'm going through anything, like somebody posts something and however it resonates with me, it resonates, and whatever that happens internally or spiritually, or I guess I would say spiritual, because that's like for me the unseen, right? Like the unseen, the unexplained, really the most understood, like it's whatever. So and some of the terms that were introduced to me later, because apparently I'm in like school, I'm in spiritual school. I need to catch up. I learned a lot. I ain't gonna say I lost a lot. I learned a lot. I lost a lot. A lot was sleep. A lot was stolen. A lot was taken. A lot happened. It's been a lot going on. So here I am sitting down for whatever reason. And hey, I'm going to learn if nothing else. Like, if nothing else, I'm in school and I'm going to learn. School of the hard knocks extension, school of whatever this lesson is, whatever this work is, whatever it is that I'm doing now, whatever capacity that I'm doing in. Because at this point, I'm exhausted, and some things I just don't have the energy to gather to fucking do. Like, I'm just kind of like, y'all want me to go through this shit again? Like, but different? Y'all want me to go through the system this way? Y'all want me, like, I don't fucking want to. Like, I don't have it. I don't have it. I don't have it. Whatever it is that I'm supposed to have that I've had all these years, like, at this moment, I don't have it. And sometimes it feels like I've been hit with so many blows recently. I'm just like sometimes I'll feel like in certain places, it's like I feel, and it's always, and somebody said something to me recently, and she was like, I can't even remember the words. Um, I can't even recall the words verbatim, but essentially it was like you feeling the things your ancestors couldn't, like essentially overall, and I know that was powerful in so many ways, and also it's like, but I don't fucking want to all the time. Like, I've been feeling enough. Like, I ain't felt enough of what the fuck they felt or did. Like, oh my goodness. Like, good grief. So it's like all of these things, emotions, all of this. But sometimes I'll feel, and I'll be like, I'll feel, it'll feel like I'm gasping for like how you, like that death hit, like when somebody got and they breathing for air, or like when I was in my early 20s, I yeah, probably like my early 20s, early to mid 20s, I saved um this girl's life. Well, I don't know what happened after she left my, like, I, as a veteran, like, I was in the military at the time, but I was stationed in Toledo, and I would drive back to Cleveland for some weekends, and whatever. I was also enrolled in school and things like that. And this particular weekend, I was like, okay, um, somehow, some way, whatever it was, I ended up. I don't even remember like why. Like what was the purpose, but I rented a hotel room out in like Willowwick or something. At a hotel that was like out in Willow. I think that was Willowwick or Willoughby. And at the time, I think it was pretty nice or whatever. They had a pool. Remember, that was important. And like a ex friend of mine that I used to consider my sister, like at the time, she had oh, I can't even remember how many she had with her. Like, but she had her two kids, and I can't remember if at the same time she still had her two nephews that I brought with her. But it was just like for the kids to be able to enjoy the pool. We can enjoy the pool. Like it was kind of like a weekend getaway, right? But at the hotel, so we could swim. The kids could swim, and so we have came down to the pool. And once again, I can't remember if she just had her daughters at the time because she had custody of her nephews for a minute, and then they went back to their mom, to her sister. So it might have just been like me, her, and her two daughters. And then like somebody dropped their kids off, and they were like maybe preteen girls, maybe early teens, preteens. And I just remember her and I talking, and then the girls being in the pool and playing around or whatever. And then like somehow like they were fine, I remember. And then I just remember a lot of screaming and like like whatever it was took my attention to the girls. And I saw that they were like pulling a body out of the water. Like they were struggling to pull the body up out of the water. So I just kind of like jumped into action. I ran over, and like one of the girls had drowned essentially, like, and so she was like all dead weight. She was young. I don't even know if she was like 14. So like it took all of us to pull her out the water. Like, I mean, well, they had did a good job, and then I came in and I helped pull her the rest of the way. And then she had been under so long, I guess, that like she was foaming from the mouth. And I was like, oh my goodness. Like my first thought was mouth to mouth, but then I was like, I'm not putting my mouth on her. Like I've always been a germaphobe for real. And my thought was like, and I didn't have anything to wipe her mouth with or anything. And then it was just like, I have to do it. And it was, and so I remember just like wiping her with my hand, and then being like totally disgusted still, but like this is the kid, like just forcing that all out of my head, and then just like doing mouth to mouth CPR on her. And I just remember all of, because it might have been like her and maybe three other cousins or friends, and then my ex-friend and her kids, and like it was like so much screaming, running around. And I just remember telling somebody like, hey, call 911, like call an ambulance. And then I just remember just like doing CPR, and nobody else like knew how to do it or jumped in. So essentially I was doing rescue press and chest compressions, like breathe, listen and breathe, the repetition over and over. And I don't even know how long. And even though I was like exhausted, I needed her to breathe, so I just kept on, kept going, kept going. I didn't have nobody to like switch off with me. Um, and literally, when the ambulance was coming in, when the paramedics was coming in the door of the pool area, she was spitting up water. Like she was spitting up all of the water, and I was like, okay, I can stop. And then like the paramedics came over and they like took over, and then I remember I didn't even get any information. I think I just like walked out. Maybe one of the paramedics was talking to me. I gave the information. I don't know. I saw them put her um on the stretcher. She was they took over or whatever. I think they put a mask over her, and then I walked out of the pool area, and I think I went out into the hall. I found like a hallway, a staircase, and I just broke down into tears. Like all of that adrenaline, all of the fear, all of the everything in that moment, like I fucking broke down. Like that's when I allowed it to hit me. And I just broke down into tears. It just was, I just broke down into sobs. Like, the fuck? I just saved the girl's life. But not, it wasn't even that I just saved the girl's life. It was like, this young girl just freaking died, essentially. And, like, nobody else could help her. Nobody else could assist me. Like, everybody just stood around. Everybody was, like, in shock or something. And I was like, all of this stuff was just flying through my head. It was so overwhelming. And I think we might have left the hotel that day because, like, I think we were going to check out that day anyway. I can't remember. And it was like so much, like the ex friend was like, of course, probably ready to go. She was shaking up, whatever. And then I had to go back. I had duty. I had to check back in for duty. So I had to drive back anyway, either that night or the next night to Toledo. And that's it. And I don't even remember calling around to find out like what happened or anything. I thought about it multiple times. I think I looked in the newspaper to see if it would be like a story or something because I wanted to make sure she had lived, she was okay. I wanted to update. And that was that. And then years later, um, one of the guys that I call my little big brother, he used to have a poetry night in the hood, and he would have like the comics, the poets, the singer. It was a fucking poetry night, right? Like I guess they did it at the B side. I mean, they used to do it at the B side too, but when I got hip to it, it was from B Hosey. And it was on like 49th and St. Clair, and you had Rob Ward, the comedian. I remember that's how I met Ramona Smith, Ladybug, that you know now as the world um, champion champion of speaking. I hope I said that. The world champion of speaking. Yes, public speaking. Um, and so it was Rob, Mona, because Rob was a comedian, but he also would host. So he was essentially like the MC. You had LC, you had True Poetry. Like that's how I met all of them through B in the hood. Like, and I think we had all grew up on St. Clair in some way or another. But I think that they were younger than me. But anywho, so this particular night after poetry or whatever, we were driving up to Severance Center to go to IHOP because IHOP was 24 hours, so it was late, and we were all in the car, and we were driving up Superior Hill. So we had just went through the light, and we were driving up the hill, and it was dark, and I just remember seeing like something in the road, and as I'm looking, I'm like, that's a bike and a body. I was like, hey, stop the car, that's a bot. Like I can't recall like how I said it or like how loud I was, but I said something like, that's a bot, like stop the car. And then we get out the car, I'm like, that's a bike, that's a person in the street, right? Or whatever I said. And I'm like, stop the car. So then they stop, and we get out, and I see this older gentleman laying in the street. Somebody had did a hit and run. And so I'm like, hey y'all, like call 911 or whatever. Then I went over to him, and he was lying on the street. His bike was there, and I was like, damn, a hit and run. Like, and I knew not to move him, because I still have well, in the military we do all that, and then I pretty much have tried to usually keep my Red Cross certifications, and then just like from watching TV and whatever, just like, but the information was there, and I was like, okay, don't move him in case like something is wrong. And I was talking to him. I was like, I don't want to move you in case like you have some serious injuries or whatever. But I need to ask some questions or whatever. And like they're on the phone with 911, and I'm just like, so he can't talk. So I was just like, okay, so squeeze my hand once for no and twice for yes, or however I did it. And then I was asking him questions, maybe about pain. I can't even. It's been so long. I can't even remember, but I was asking him the questions or whatever, and they were relaying it to the 911 operator. So then when East Cleveland, because that was East Cleveland, so when East Cleveland police came in on the scene, and the East Cleveland police and the East Cleveland. Hey girl, how you doing? Good, how you? I'm decent. Taking a little sunshine break. Yes, and I'm chasing it too. It keep. And it's nice today. Well, to me, it's like a little breezy still. You know, I like it hot. I know. And I'm just like, okay, I'm trying to sit directly in her, and she keep moving. She gonna keep moving. Right. So when the police and the ambulance arrive, you know, we give them the statements or whatever, and I tell them, like, the police and the paramedics, and I tell them, and like the gentleman is like holding on to my hand and still, and I really didn't want to you know, I didn't want to let it go, but I was just like, okay. And then I think they were asking like what his name was and stuff, and I was just telling them like he wasn't speaking. I didn't know, and then I was telling them the questions that I had asked, and based on like how, you know, he responded without how I told him to respond. So he kind of got like he has some he's still alive, like he has some movement because he can squeeze my hand to answer the question. So he has some cognitive responses and things like that. So then they asked, you know, they took our statements, they asked our information, and I don't know, I can't remember if one of the officers tried to talk to me at that time or whatever, and I was just like, no, or if he asked me if he could call me or something. I don't remember. And I said about the case or something. I don't remember. And then like later on, he became like he requested me on social media as a friend. So I remember thinking like, that's weird. Like, how did you find who I was through social media? Because this was the earlier days of social media, so that kind of like freaked me out a little bit. And it was also like, I don't know, I didn't find it could have been flattering to some people. It wasn't flattering to me. I have a aversion to police officers, essentially. I mean, I've known some, like the ones that I know and trust. I don't think that police officers are essentially all bad people. I think that whole system is fucked for real, and I think it needs a whole overhaul and purge and cleanse, and some things need to be changed, right? Like, We can all see that. I don't think each individual police officer is bad. Um, and yeah, and also there's a lot of things that I'm aware of that I don't trust. So, do I necessarily want to date a police officer? Hell no. Now, I had one, I used to love a police officer, and that was different to me because that was different, but no. Why? Essentially, I've seen too much, and I'm aware that it's already difficult to be heard and seen in our system. And if I date you, then essentially you have way too much power and control, and it's another fight that I don't really want to do if anything flips the wrong way, like ever. And essentially, like, Cleveland is a small big town. Even the neighboring towns, like East Cleveland is East Cleveland, like it's on the east side of it's another city, but it's Cleveland. And shit, I fought a whole police officer when I was 16. Like, even if I didn't think about any of that. And then as a kid, I remember when I was staying with the the broad that adopted me, the next door neighbor was a police officer. And I think back now, and I'm like, he used to be standing outside me in my sister's bedroom window, like late at night, talking shit to us. Like, it's like a whole sexual thing happening. And like, I was used to grown men, and doing stuff. And I know I flirted back with him. I was, shit, I left her house when I was 14, so probably like 11, 12. But I remember, like, he was living next door. So if I was 11 or 12 or 13, my little sister was like 10 or 9 or 10. And it felt like he would be like coming out, because our bedroom window was like at the side of his house, and he would be like coming out, late at night, like checking. He had two Rottweilers in his backyard, and then he had his daughter's name was Cheyenne, and then his wife, I don't remember her, but I do know he used to beat her up. And then, like, he would come out at night and be like, kind of like calling for me and my sister. We supposed to be in the bed, and me being me, like, whatever. And I would answer the call, and I would be talking to him and stuff. And I knew, like, my body was responding, so I was very well aware that, like, this was some sexual overtones, whether I completely understood it or not. I was used to men and molestation and all of that. So, like, definitely was triggered and activated. And he was calling to me, because I guess my body was calling to him. My body's calling, your body's calling. And like I said, I know he was a police officer, and I'm just assuming that if he was a police officer, he was in the same district. So since I lived on Landslide at the time, and I think about the police officer that had to be 6th district at the time. So anywho, going back to, like, I don't. There's a very thin line of my trust with police officers, and essentially, I don't trust them. I don't. They're a very last resort for me. And when I look at it on that level, most of the interactions that I've had with them have not been positive in the city of Cleveland, at all. Most of them have not. From how you doing? From illegal searches and the a mile. Oh, uh, you got locks or they just twisted? That's dope. Um, so from, like, the illegal searches and seizures, from how they on the holidays they would set up the damn DUI checkpoints in the hood, and not even checking to see if you drunk. They just want to check to make sure you got license and registration so they can fucking tow your car and give you a ticket and like all that shit, right? And it wasn't even always license and registration. It was insurance. You got insurance. It was insurance. It was insurance shit. Insurance things. In the hood only, in the middle of the hood. Um, and so, and then like, yeah. So like, dating a police officer wasn't really anything that I was interested in doing. And then this police officer came to the crimes to the scene of this crime and rescue or whatever for me, like helping this man that had got hit. And then like all of a sudden you requesting to be my friend on social media, and I'm like, no, like did I give you? Because like I say, social media was different back then. Facebook might have still been like you had to, because when Facebook first came out, you had to be a college student to have a Facebook page. You had to have a college email. And then like over the years that's changed. So it might have still been like it was still very exclusive at the time. I guess still. It was becoming something different, but and so I was just like I remember thinking like how did he get my information? Like, how did you find me on social media? So you took my information off the case, like the police report and stuff, and then you thought it was appropriate to find me on social media and then request to be my friend if I told you no at the when you wanted to be my when you asked me for my number on the crime scene. Like I feel like he asked me for my number. I can't remember. And I feel like I said no. Well, if he asked, I said no. However, he asked, whether he came right out and asked, whether it was an insinuation, whatever. So, like, that didn't really sit. That felt like a, that felt like a lack of boundaries at that point to me. Like, I don't know. It didn't sit well. It kind of fed into how I feel about how I was already feeling about police officers being like having the potential to be unstable and stalkers and yeah, all the stuff they supposed to be protecting about, right? And this was in my 20s. Like a lot of the by this time, most of the interactions that I had come across with the police were negative for real. And just what happened, the stop and frisk, the drug planting, like all of that. And I grew up in the damn hood, and I bounced around to all the different hoods. So I ain't never just been really stationary. I can go anywhere. Like I know a lot of people back then weren't really going across town. Like it was just like them Harvard niggas like this or them. Like everybody got their reputations, but to me it was just like, I mean, shit, y'all all the same a little bit. I mean, shit, we all black. Like we all just got a different struggle. It's cool over here. These dudes is cool. I don't know them. They a new batch or these girls like whatever. Like it didn't going from one side of town to the other. It just was what it was. I guess I don't know. I didn't really understand. But anywho, so um, I was saying I was talking about the spirituality. So when I was saying like sometimes in these days it feels like that, like how though like that girl, that young girl being dead and being resurrected by me, by my hands from drowning essentially. How that was while I'm doing mouth to mouth and I'm pressing on her, I'm pressing on her chest and I'm trying to get her to breathe and I'm trying to get that water out of her lungs and all of that. I'm trying to clear it, right? I feel that like sometimes it's like I'll be like, damn, is that a and like what is that? Cause at one time it was like that's my phoenix. She trying to she trying to get her breath again. Like it's like I pictured her and everything. And then Kanye song. Which song was that? I'm trying to breathe. What song was that? Like when he catch his breath. I know it was on College Dropout. They be asking me questions. No, was that the song? Oh, but when he come in like gasping for breath, like it feels like that's happening so much in different places. And when I was told, like, you are allowing your ancestors to process and feel things that they had, and like you are going through that process essentially for your ancestors, and it's like I didn't really understand it, and with everything that's happening and has happened in my physical, like, and at this time where all of this is changing, I feel it in different places, and I'm just like, a lot of times I'm like, okay, I've been hit so much. I'm like trying to resurrect myself to be able to fucking what, like, and then like there are some parts of me that's resurrected, that's back alive, that's breathing again, right? And then there are still some parts of me that's like, no matter how much I try, okay, you got like, and there's some parts of me that's like, Google, hi, beautiful. Oh my goodness. Hey, baby. Hi. I miss you. I miss you so much. Aw, it's so good to see your name come up. I miss you and I miss my baby. I was thinking about you guys the other day. But it's like, I've been like, just like, some parts of me is so, have taken so many hits, have been killed so many times. I'm like, maybe my body was regenerating all new everything. Like, maybe that's what's happening. Maybe that's what the fuck. I am being resurrected, new everything. Like, renewed heart, renewed spirit. And no, and I'm just used to getting up, right? Like, because I have to get up. I have to get up. I have to make sure I'm taken care of. I have to make sure I'm protected. I have to make sure I can eat. Like, who else is going to do any of this at all? Because I'm a single black woman, right? Like, and whatever anybody's perception or opinion or however anybody feel about anything, I felt and chose in this season, it felt more comfortable for me to be by my fucking self because the energy around me was not conducive. Like, whatever energy that I once allowed inside of me, or inside of my area, is just not conducive. And I'm so wounded, been so wounded and dead essentially, that I, like, my rebirth is more comfortable for me to do that in my freaking den, like a dragon, or and a lion, like any being that retreats into the depths of their natural home or habitat, like to their solitude, to be able to freaking recuperate or rebuild their strength, like, regardless of anything in my physical. For the most part, it's me, and I'm so used to it being me, but I'm also so used to doing what I have to do, that in this season, for a long time now, like, I haven't really been able to. Like, this was like all the blows that been taken, like it was like a literally a death blow, and then a red, like it all culminated into a death blow and a rebirth. So like I'm I'm resurrecting as a whole new being. And in that, I can feel like still some of the, it just be like, okay, that's my phoenix, that's my dragon. What is this, an ancestor? Because I feel this pain and I don't even like, I can't even cry. Like it's like a, I just gotta feel it and I just gotta take it and I can't really explain it. And in the season, they're like, it's okay that you were forced to forget. It's who you were, your powers, your gifts. It's okay that they were taken from you for a while. It's okay, everything that happened, because even though you didn't know who you were, there's so many people that did. Like, you thought when you were walking into rooms, it was the first time that you had heard of people or seen people, because it was the first time that you was seeing them, sometimes even if you had seen them before. But people knew exactly who you were, and they decided that they were going to use you for their benefit, whatever that benefit was going to be for them, because they knew that you didn't know them, and that was their test. What you gonna do? Because if you know her, then whatever it is that you know something. What you gonna do with that information? How you gonna use it? And unfortunately, too many people used it to harm, to create some kind of something, whether I knew it or not. Most of the time, I didn't think about it. I didn't. It like the energy it takes to look back and to see what, like, the energy to live in any of that space. That's a channeling that energy lately. Oh, that's a total different. That shit is different because I've experienced life. I've experienced pain. I've experienced abuse on multiple levels. I've experienced a lot of things, and essentially, it's just been me experiencing it. And I don't. And even if I see some things in somebody, I never thought that everybody was that way, right? Like, that was my experience with you. And I also know there's other people out there like you, but they are different people and they do different things. Like, each thing is different. Each person, each different. Each scenario is different. Like, when y'all watch movies, it's different, right? Like, because I know we all see things differently. So even if I'm watching a TV series, like, each episode may carry something of the character in it, but it's kind of different. Like, each character is different. And even if that writer creates another movie or like a a a, um, a sequel, it's different. Like, Denzel and Equalizer 1 wasn't the same Denzel in Equalizer 2 or Equalizer 3. And even in the beginning of Equalizer, he wasn't the same person in Equalizer, like in Equalizer 1 as it went on. And Man of Fire, like the Denzel that you were introduced to, wasn't the same. So it's like people are different to me. And because I had this experience with this man, why would I just assume that this man is going to do the same thing, or this man, like, and also being aware that it exists and trusting what, like, my instincts to know, because that's what kept me alive and that's what kept me protected all this time. Like, there's a certain energy with men that wanted to harm me, right? Like, as a kid, I got that had been touched. There was a certain energy with the freaking pedophile, like the ones that meant to do, like, there was an energy you got to, and I learned to try to, like, how to maneuver, to pay attention, to listen to the signals, to figure out when you was gonna try to hurt me, to try to, like, know and maneuver. So, but then there were times where, like, they came in and you saw it and they realized that you saw it, and then they switched it up long enough for you to maybe forget that you saw it. And then by the time they tried to attack, sometimes it was too late, and then sometimes you still able to be on top. And when you was able to beat them at their own game, like at 14, I was sliding through all kind of shit, and I didn't even realize that like that shit wasn't over for them. Because once I got through it, that shit was over for me. Like, you tried to kill me outside in front of the whole community, and they stood and watched for whatever it was in shock and support. Like, I don't know, but everybody stood on the sidelines and watched until one person came, and then everybody shot into action. And then that whole had a whole spiral. But like every situation that I was essentially getting through was that. And then like being placed in this house with the daughter, and where everything I went through in that house, and then that attack, and then me even being able to get through that, defending myself and get through that, and then I'm at these other places, and then I'm at this group home. Then I'm in this whole other city, and then I'm placed with this man, and being able to get through that, and then as a like boom, 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 like, and for me, it never was a moment to think about what I got through. Like, I never really did that in life. Even when I wrote my book, I just wrote my book. Like, I lived through it again, and it just was like I didn't see any of the other stuff when I went and knocked on my biological grandparent. Like, none of the other stuff that I saw, because like, why would I make you pay for what they did? I met you in this light, and this is what it is. So who are you? I don't really know. I don't really know how to explain it. And then this season is like different, and it's also different because I feel like not only that, but the motherfuckers in the office, like, or some, like, y'all trying to make me lose my housing. You trying to, like, all these other hits that's coming at me where you want me to lose my help. Like, so somewhere along the line, I done did so much shit or whatever that, like, somebody want me dead, essentially, yeah. And then, like, dead, destitute. I don't know. I don't know. But when I think about, I started all of this talking about the spiritual realm, because things have to happen in the spiritual first. Like, things happen in the spiritual, and then they manifest in the physical. So that was one of the messages that I received. Like, that's important to understand that when we, for example, when you say words, and being magical as hell that I am, because now I'm learning about like the things that I believe that existed anyway, whether I understood it or not, that shit exists, and however it exists, like, and it ain't no fear about it. Like, I don't understand. I mean, I guess I can see why people had a fear of stuff, but like, I ain't scared of shit, and I don't understand why anybody think that they can burn a whole species or destroy a whole species based off of a couple bad seeds. Well, except for me, because I be feeling like the universe can destroy this entire planet, because like, we ain't got it collectively, and she can start over and recreate something different. I do be feeling like turn this bitch, because we ain't listening enough as a collective to her, and this is her world. And she already told us multiple times that she's sick of us treating it like we not fucking guests on her planet. And so when she asked me, I'm going to say, what do you feel? Because I'm looking around and I'm telling you, you can burn it. I ain't scared of death. And I don't care. I don't care. Like, it's not a fear to respect. And we are your guests. So if you feel like we ain't doing enough and I'm speaking and I see other people speaking and I see and the majority is saying fuck what we say and fuck what you say and they feel like it's not important to tune into you for whatever reason, and they don't want to really support the ones that do, then do what you need to do. Do what you need to do. However you feel like you need to do it. And that is how I'm gonna feel about nature, period. Because why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? When people don't be respecting your house the way you tell their asses to get out. When they don't respect your stuff, you feel disrespected and you want to do something in retaliation, right? So, you a guest on this damn earth, on this planet, in this universe. You not superior. She is. She's allowing us to do all kind of stuff. And we telling her just what we think about it. Be ungrateful. Probably all the stuff that people think about me, or some people have thought about me at some point in time. We all get knowledge and what we gonna do with it. So, anywho, spiritual things happen in the spiritual before the physical. So whatever you put out there will come back. When it comes back, how it comes back, how hard it comes back, because like you form some words, if you put an intention out, you have to, like, it's out there. So even if you say something later to cancel it, that got to catch up with that so that it can cancel it out first, but you already put it out there. And so even if you realize you needed to cancel it, if you put it out there, you still that's going to be a boomerang, like, because it got to go somewhere. So if you realize that it wasn't working, like, it got to come back somewhere. If you realize that was invalid, that it wasn't right. So they were telling me that the spiritual realm essentially is, it's a whole other realm. Like, however you think of it, it's a whole realm. There are multiple realms, dimensions, timelines, lives, universes. Like, it's not just us in this wormhole or universe. And we don't even have to be stuck here. Like, if we could just fucking get strong enough to get out their systems. But apparently a lot of people feel like they need those systems. They need that. That may be accurate. I don't know. I don't really feel like I need anybody else to govern me. And it would be great to have protection and provision and support and love and a lot of other stuff like affluence, financial security, like people and think, like, it would be great to have other things, right? Like, it would be great that when I want to fucking smoke some weed, I could just go and buy me some weed that I could trust in wholeheartedly and fucking just smoke that shit, right? Like, I knew where it came from, even if I'm growing it myself. Like, I understood that nothing in this is going to cause me harm and it's going to do what it's supposed to do because I fucking enjoy smoking weed, right? If I want to fucking do ayahuasca or go to an ayahuasca resort, then I can do that. And I can become, if I am given permission or or chosen by the divine, that I can I don't know if I want to say oversee or facilitate some ayahuasca retreat or some medicine shamanic retreat or anything, right? Like as a medicine woman, because I'm learning a lot of stuff. Like I get this stuff and it be like, ooh, I get information. Like I be feeling like I'm a wizard. I mean, I'm a witch. I'm a witch and wizard, because they say wizard is the male counterpart. But I be feeling like I can tap into the male and the female. So I'm all of it. And I say like I'm God, I'm creator, I'm created, all of that. Like I'm a representative of the universe, whatever is out there. And however you choose to perceive that, that's your perception. I don't have really anything to do with that. But like we gotta understand it. We communicate, we talk, right? Like so it would be great to have a lot of other things. And also like I'm 42 years old and I've lived the majority of my life without any of those things. The majority of it. And even if I had it in moments and pockets, like overall, my life has been lonely. And that doesn't have to be a bad or negative connotation. It is. And when I'm around people, I have to fucking fight to some capacity to be understood, to be heard, to be. Ooh, shit, this is deja vu. I had this moment. I dreamt this. I can't remember what was next though. But like to be free, I gotta deal with stuff that I don't want. Let's like not to be like that because I'm a caregiver. I'm a care for people if that's what my assignment. But to have to give that energy to old white people or and not be able to give it to my people because like this is where they can afford me. And even in that, like I'm gonna do the bare minimum that I can do to be able to survive because I don't want to give all my energy. So like even at this time, even at any point in time, because even when I was younger, the thing was you ain't got no kids, you know, you can work, and I was always like, why the fuck am I about to do that? Like, just because I don't have no kids don't mean I'm about to work like a damn dog or a slave or an ox or a mule or any damn thing else. Like, you need to be committed to one job. Why? Why do I need to do that? Like, these jobs ain't committed to us on no levels. So I'm going to do them how they do us. Like, I'm going to be here as long as it's beneficial for me in whatever that capacity that is. And you don't own me. You don't own me. I did a video that's what I was going to post where it was like, essentially, I don't care if I make $10 a minute, $1 a minute, or $1,000,000 a minute. Like, nigga, this is an exchange of energy. This is an agreement. This is agreement. You don't get to fucking talk to me no kind of way. You don't own me. You don't like you getting something and I'm getting something. And whether I think I should be getting more or not, whether I know how to whether I know what is fair or not, like this is what you decided you wanted to give me for whatever that was. Like this is what we agreed on based off of whatever information that we had. And if you get more information and you like, oh, okay, like you deserve a lot more, then that's fine. But if you decided like this is just what you want to give me and you know you can give me more and you just like this is what you decided worth, well that's what it is. Like that's just kind of the system that I chose to work on because it was my way out of the system that I was like it was the best way that I knew how to navigate the system that I was introduced to and in. So it was like the numbers are like this. So based on the lifestyle that I have and like the least amount of energy that I can extend for this, like I can work this job and I can do that and I can do that and I can get this income. To, like it became like a time and energy and money thing. Like I have this much time and energy to give. How much do I need to work or give of my energy per freaking week, because it was like first like per day, and then it was like no, it was like a per month. Like how much of this income do I need? With what I have available to me, like with my tools, what I have available, with the jobs, like whatever. Okay, so this is what I need to make a month to be able to cover this stuff, at least this stuff, and then to also be able to um, hopefully save and things like that. Got it. This is how much I need to make a month. So then if I break that number down by I think a day or whatever it was, like how many days it kind of essentially was like how many days a month do I need to work? Like how much money do I need? How much money do I need to make a day for this much in a month? And then it was like, okay, so then if I can take this, how many days out the week can I work? And how many days out the month can I work? Like the least amount. So if I need to make this much, that means I need to make this much money a day, at least for 14 days out the month. Or like, do I want to give that much energy? Do I want to give 14 days worth of energy to anything? Not. So like, how can I only have to work for maybe 7 to 10 days out the month? Like that's kind of like how I was trying to figure it out, because I don't want to have to work, and this system, this whole United States, is draining in one way or another, because as a black woman with essentially very minimum, very little physical support, I am I'm exhausted, right? And my energy is valuable, period. And we live in a system where it's like, if you're not giving me what I want, then I'm not really doing anything for you. Like if you're not my wife, if you're not my sister, if you're not my child, if you're not fucking me, if you're not joining my organization, if you're not with, like, why am I helping you for real? Like, it's a benefit thing. And I get it. I get it. And it's like, I don't want to do none of that. Why? Why should I want to? What have you shown me to prove that I should be your wife? Like, why should I want to be your wife? Even if I feel like you have characteristics that would make me happy to be your wife. Like, why should I want to be your wife? What have you done besides show up? And I know some women give a list of things and some men give a list of things, but to me that shit don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing. Because what does it mean? I can cook and I can clean, but you don't know how to cook and clean? And even if I can cook and clean, I can cook and clean for me, because that's relative, right? Like, I love spicy foods. I eat a lot of produce. I make up a lot of shit. I follow recipes and then I don't follow them. I like different cuisines. So if you're not into none of that, what does it matter if I cook it or not? You don't want it. So can I cook? That's relative. Like, I think I can. When I cook, the people around me eat it. They used to. They don't really come around. Well, I ain't invited nobody in a long time, but they stopped coming around for real. And that was fine too. Like, just don't waste my damn time and money. I'll say you come in and then don't. That's the waste of time and money that, like, I could have cooked smaller batches. I could have spent more money at the store, less money at the store. Like, prices and shit is high, right? So, but anywho, like, and yes, I can clean. I can clean for me. Like, I know how I prefer to live. But what you prefer, I might not want to do that. Like, if you, so what is that? And it don't matter, because I don't want to have to do anything. So I want to be able to afford a house cleaner, a housekeeper, and a chef, and even if they're not on staff all the time, if I don't want to cook, I don't want to have to cook. Like, I feed myself when I cook. I'm excited. Like, I'm happy. I don't. If I don't feel like cooking, I won't cook. So like, I cook for myself out of love. The things I nurture is out of love, not out of obligation. It's care. It's want. It's just like it's. Ooh, I get excited. I don't ever want that to have to not be because now it became a job. How you doing, beautiful? Yes, right? Happy for it. You have a good day. So, all of that. And then there's plenty of women who can cook or clean. You don't want them. Like, essentially becomes about energy. Like, people are attracted to people because of the energy that they emit. So, okay, if I can cook or something like that, that's irrelevant. And if I do anything, it's because I want to do it. Like, and what you do with that is up to you. And then it comes down to sex. It always seems to come down to sex. Like, for whatever reason, I felt like you were worth giving my body to. You were worth opening up to with a condom on. And even before I got confident enough to say, put on the condom, which is more, speaks more to my environment, to me as a person, I believe. Like, why, as a woman that wanted to have sex, was I, even if I was educated enough to get the condom, why was I unempowered enough to be able to tell you that I want you to put one on? Why did I think that the responsibility only lied with you? And why was I either afraid to say it? Because that essentially is that what it come down to? A loss of like being able to speak. So afraid to say, put on a condom. What about my environment taught me that? Was it the fact that, like, if you were a girl and you liked sex, you were now a slut, no matter why you liked sex? Because the men that were after me and touching me and doing anything, like, did that account for anything? No. Why not? Because the men that were doing it didn't want nobody looking at them, or y'all just, everything just got to be put on the woman. The blame got to be put on the woman. Okay, fine. So now that I'm saying this is my choice and I'm choosing to have sex with you for whatever reason, I might not even know what it is because your ass came, whatever it is, like, it's you. So now there's some type of judgment and some type of something, and like, now it's going to attract more men because they think they can have it, and like, oh, y'all just cool to me, I don't want none of y'all. So then that can become a problem. And like, I never looked at it as everybody out to get something. It was just like, oh, you over here, okay, so your energy is cool, you here, um that's cool. Like, you cool. You seem like you would be a cool little brother. You seem like you would be a cool friend. Or you just ain't even got to have a title. Or, because everybody don't get a title. Like, your name is your title, right? Like, your name is your title. You here. And we doing whatever we do and whatever. And if you want to do something different, you can tell me that you want to do something different, and I can think about it and decide if I'm interested, and then we can kind of negotiate terms. We can decide what is cool for both of us. Get off of me, off. Um, like, we can decide what that means, and then if we can't come to a mutual agreement where like both of us are mutually satisfied to some degree, then we can move on, right? And I don't know, things just get really interesting, like, because you can have a list and say a man has to take you out and do this and do that and do that. That's what I was saying. Like, men and women, they have their list. And then what? Like, what does that prove? Because you get men that's complaining about or speaking on their frustration about taking all these women out and spending all this money on them weekly, constantly, monthly, year, like whatever it is, lavishing all this, and then that woman don't want to have sex with them, or give them whatever they want, and now it's a problem. Well, why did you think that she had to just because you took her out? Like, why did you feel entitled to anything because you did anything for her? You didn't think that it was a joy and a gift just to be in her presence, especially when she summoned you. Because whatever you did, you made it a point to make yourself known to her. Whatever you threw out, your energy came across her magnetic field, especially for me. And I said, oh, okay, boom. Let me see what you asking for. Let me see what you doing over here. And then what do? Like, what do you choose to do with that? She came too quick, because then you got to think the spiritual and the physical and everybody being in different perceptions and things like that. So whoever I may be seeing you as may be totally different than the person that you see you as. And like, that can be a whole total different thing if you the timing, because that's one thing that I was very, very clear about speaking when I spoke about the things that I wanted from my divine partner, husband. Husband's not whatever it is. Like, I definitely always specific about time. Like, make sure that it's at the right time, because if I come across him at a time that he's not ready to nurture, and if I come, or that I'm not ready, like if we cross paths and it's not time, all of this other stuff that I'm asking for doesn't matter. We can destroy it essentially. So make sure that the timing, that we see each other, that we recognize each other, that we see each other, and that we engage in each other, it's the right time that we come together. Like, that was one thing that I was always, because I seen people come together in the wrong time. Hell, what I guess it's not necessarily the wrong or right, like wrong or right. It was just you wasn't the one. It wasn't the timing for what I thought it was. So now I leave a lot of things open, because why am I like, I don't always have to assign you a role before I even know what you are capable of fulfilling, right? But if you hear, and no matter what I thought, whatever it is in you, I'm like, so you show interest in sex. Okay, that's cool. I want to have sex, and I don't want to have sex with most people. Probably nobody. So let's have sex. So then, however you perceive that or take that or translate that, it's on you. And when I think about the way that in these societies that men choose to have the audacity to perceive women that want to open their legs for them, I don't care who else she opened her legs for. Like, that you look at the environment, and if you looked at the environment, you chose to look at the environment and cast judgment on her and decided that, like, she was invaluable or she was less than. Are you nuts? Are you nuts? For everything. I see women thing. You look at that man and you cast judgment on him before you get to know him. And some of y'all decide that, like, he gonna be your person for whatever reason, for what you perceive that he have. And then when he decide that he don't have, which whether he have it or not, he don't want to share it with you, you upset because you gave him your gift of what's between your legs, the gift of your magic, of any of your magic, whether it was the food you cooked, whether it was the time you gave, the energy you gave, the money you spent, whatever it is that you gave, it was attached to a, to something, an attention, something, like you wanted something out of it, and then deemed him some type of way when he didn't give you what you thought that he was supposed to give you. So it's the same shit the guys do, just in reverse. Like, you gave her something and thought she was entitled to give you something, whether you thought she was entitled to give you a meal, whether you thought that she was entitled to give you any of her magic, whether it's the magic that lies in her vagina, her womb, her anything, her mental space, like anything. And then oftentimes y'all decide to take it. And same for the women. Oftentimes y'all decide to take it. And when you do something simply off the fact that, like, I want to do it, to me, it eliminates a lot of that. When you going in and you decide to put something on somebody, like, oh, I see him, he got money. Okay, well, I'm going to give him this and he gonna give me his money. And then when he don't give you his money, he what? He cheap, he a user, he this, he did that, he did that. I should used to get on my, he did this to me, he did that to me. He ain't no good, he wasted my time. He took the greatest years of my life. Like, he. What did you do? What were the choices you made? Because you made choices too. And just because he didn't give you what you thought you was going to get out of it does not necessarily equate to him being anything that you said that he was. It just means that you made a bad investment choice for you. Because he could have been something else, but you wanted this. You decided that he was supposed to go in this slot. He had these qualities in this, so you think that he was supposed to be your man, the father of your children, whatever it was. Whether you asked him if he wanted to fulfill those roles, whether you sat back to see if he was going to tell you he wanted to fulfill those roles, whether y'all had conversation or whatever, like, this is what you chose. And when he did not respond in whatever way, shape, or form that you thought that he was supposed to respond, now you are the victim. He did something to you. He hurt you. Like, all of that could be solved with just do what the fuck you want to do because you want to do it. And open your mouth and have some conversations. And a lot of conversations you can have without even saying nothing. I used to tell the people, like, this will work. Whatever we doing right now will work until it doesn't. That's it. Like, it work until it don't. Whatever that may be. So we both decided, like, even if I decided that I wanted to go on dates with you, or if I wanted this from you, or if I wanted that from you, or whatever it was, like, you decided that that's not something that you wanted to give or was able to give, or whatever it is, whatever choices you made or couldn't make, or whatever was happening in your life, that it was instead one way. That is okay. So, like, we both essentially, to some degree, decided that this was what we wanted, and that was these moments, and in these moments it's sex, and in these moments it's watching TV, or these moments is going to the movies, or whatever the moments is that we collectively decided that this was the energy that we wanted to give, whether one person planned it and the other person agreed to it or what. And so that's what we agree on until we collectively decide, or one of us decides that that's not enough. When we decide that's not enough, we can speak on it. Like, if you decide that this is somebody that you still think that you want something more with, you could tell them. Because I used to say all the time, like, when it come down to either one of us wanting something different, we can communicate and we can renegotiate terms and agreements. Like, to me, it was that simple. Like, we have both collectively agreed on this dynamic. And I'll just use sex because a lot of times that's what's used. That's what this country and shit, that's what our cultures are so hung up on. And not to say that sex isn't powerful and valuable and all. I'm not saying all of that. I'm saying that so many things about sex have been twisted and used in ways that it was not supposed to be used for. And that's coming from spiritually and physically and everything. Like, manipulation of sex, because sex is magic. Sex magic. Like, it can be magical. But people decide all kind of stuff instead of, like, and they decide it for other people all the time. And it's unfair. And they use it for things other than, like, mutual agreement. And there are other forms of argument, like you both mutually agree that when you lie down together, no matter what, if you wear a condom, if you have on birth control, you agreeing that there could be a possible baby out of this situation. You could possibly create life together out of this situation. You are both agreeing that you are okay with whatever that may bring, whether it may bring an abortion, whether it may bring drama, whether it may bring you together, whether it may, like, whatever may happen out of that union, you've decided that you along for the ride whenever you lie down with somebody. And when you lie down with them unprotected, without any kind of condom or birth control or any kind of barrier or conversation or agreements or anything, acknowledgments, communication, then you have decided that you just gonna go all in, like you cool, whatever that is, whatever that could be, with that being an entity or entities or person or whatever that you are lying down with. You just have decided that whatever that comes out of that moment, you okay with it, because you didn't use no kind of protective measures ahead of time, whether that was conversation, whether that was, um, like I said, conversation, communication, dialogue. How many other ways can I say it? Condoms, birth control, neem. Because birth control doesn't just have to be the pharmaceuticals. There are all types of birth control alternatives available. And that goes on the male and the female aspect, because men, whatever it is, like, your power is limited to essentially what you choose to do, from who you choose to lie with, and whether or not you choose to use a condom. Because once you give to her, you give to her. That's the most control that you can have, and you could do other things, and that's gonna bring other stuff. You can push her to do things your way. You can try to manipulate. You can try to do any type of thing, but for men, you are aware that the control and the power that you mostly have is in choosing to lie down with them and choosing what type of barrier methods you're going to have, whether that is a condom, whether you're looking into holistic, because men can use neem as a birth control method and alternative. If you don't want to get a vasectomy, or because vasectomies can be reversed, um, it's a surgical procedure, so it's invasive, but they can be reversed. The birth control, the one male birth control that I know that can be used long or short term with no problems is neem. Neem. So herbal birth control is holistic for men. That can be used for men and women. Um, and so men have vasectomies, neem, and condoms and choice. That's what y'all got to use. Conversation, your discernment, your intuition, like, knowledge of self, of your like, because I feel like men, you got to be more on it, because your options are extremely limited. And as a man, that can open up a whole world of other stuff for you. Oh, this is at 2 hours. I gotta stop it and start a new one. I'm gonna continue.